welcome in. You have found us once again. Shoot the Gap, the Rabbit Hole Fantasy Football Focus Show, here to help you to be gruntled with your fantasy football team and your fantasy football decisions. I am Brian the Amigo Baldwin. So glad you're able to join. This is the Saturday Sleeper Show. So I'm going to give you two sleepers from each the quarterback, running back, and wide receiver and tight end position to help you navigate, the buys and the injuries for week 10. Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's get started. So, with quarterbacks, let's go with quarterbacks. Daniel Jones. Yeah, let's talk about Daniel Jones, New York Giants quarterback. Last week, Daniel Jones had 54 rushing yards, scored 3 touchdowns for the first time this season. It's incredible. Yeah, he had a season high in fantasy football points. Yeah, this past week. So something like that will get on the radar. So he should have a second straight great fantasy performance as he faces the Carolina Panthers in Week 10, who are terrible in all areas of the defense. Yeah, the Panthers have allowed the fourth most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks and the most rushing yards in the NFL this season. Since Week 5, listen to this, everybody. Since Week 5, the Panthers have allowed rookies Bo Nix, Caleb Williams to rack up big games against them, and even Marcus Mariota. Oh man, Marcus Mariota. Woo! Yeah, came off the bench and put up a 19.6 points against them in week 7. So yeah, incredible. Yeah, so that's definitely one of the sleepers there, Daniel Jones, if you're stuck. The second one, quarterback, would be Justin Herbert. Yeah, Herbert is getting hot at the right time. He has scored at least 23 and a half fantasy points in each of his past 2 games. And he's worth starting again, against Tennessee. The Titans, they've allowed 2 of the past 3 opposing quarterbacks to score at least 21 points, fantasy points. And Herbert could end up doing that. Okay, he's got his wide receivers are starting to pop with Quentin Johnston. Whew, how about that, right? And Ladd McConkey. And the Tennessee, even though they're really good against passing, just the way that Herbert's throwing, again, we're managing the bye weeks and the injuries. This is not a bad play. All right, let's move on to running back. Running back. Start with Austin Eckler. Yeah, with Brian Robinson Jr. ruled out, Austin Eckler is set to make his start against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it looks like a bad matchup on paper, right? You hear Pittsburgh Steelers, you're like, come on, man. What are you doing? I understand that, he's going to get the start, but Steelers? But check this out. Before the bye, the Steelers allowed Tyrone Tracy Jr. to run for 145 yards and a touchdown. And before that, they allowed Rico Dowdle, Rico Dowdle from Dallas, to go for 87 yards and a receiving touchdown. So the opportunity should be there for Eckler. And when given the chance, he has shown that he can produce with Robinson out of the picture. So, yeah, Austin Eckler, first sleeper. Second one, good old Ray Davis. Yeah, from Buffalo Bills. Yeah, he has scored at least 11 fantasy points in 3 of the last 4 weeks, even providing a 16-point performance last week, despite playing 12% of the Buffalo Bills' offensive snaps in the game. Yeah, that's incredible, right? He has scored a touchdown in 2 of the last 3 games. He's had a 40-plus yard reception in 2 of the last 4 games. Davis is the only running back in the NFL with multiple 40-plus yard catches this season. All right, this is the guy that's in the pool. Yeah, the Indianapolis Colts have allowed the 3rd most scrimmage yards per game to the running back position this season. And if the Bills get an early lead, Davis could see more playing time this weekend. Yeah, so the risk is built in. Considering he's a backup to James Cook, but with injuries and bye weeks hitting us all, yeah, there are worse options in the pool. Right now, in Yahoo leagues, he's only 30% rostered. Yeah, so great sleeper right there. All right, moving on to wide receivers. All right. So let's go and start off with Juwan Jennings. Yeah, Juwan Jennings. Yeah, he's back into the fantasy radar. Yeah, he will be back after missing 2 games with a hip injury. Yeah, this will be Jennings' first game of the season playing without Brandon Ayuk, who tore his ACL, as you know, back in Week 7. The last time he was asked to step in for an injured Deebo Samuels, Jennings put up a career day with 11 receptions, 175 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns, and back in week 3. Yeah, he probably won't hit that mark this week, but he will get a lot of extra playing time with Ayuk, sideline, and he has a fantastic matchup in week 10. The Buccaneers have allowed the second most fantasy points to the wide receiver position since week 5. Over the last 5 games, the Buccaneers have allowed 4 different wide receivers to score at least 22 fantasy points against them. Okay, so yeah, I would say that hits the mark of a sleeper. So Juwan Jennings, first wide receiver sleeper. Second one, Demarcus Robinson, yeah, from the Rams. How's this guy only rostered in 30% of Yahoo leagues? How is he? I don't know. In the past 2 games, Robinson has 4 touchdowns with 8 catches for 129 yards on 12 targets. He scored twice in each game, but before you say that's tough to trust, look at last season. Robinson scored 4 touchdowns in his final 5 games in 2023 while playing as the number 3 receiver behind Puka and Cooper Kupp. So maybe he can keep this up. The matchup against the Dolphins is nothing to fear. And if anything, he is a great backup plan to have if you're worried about Nico Collins not making it through warm-ups on Sunday Night Football because, he plays on Monday night. So, second sleeper, Demarcus Robinson. All right. Moving on to tight end. Tight end. Start off with number 1. It's a great matchup to exploit. It really is, everybody. Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson, the tight end for the Giants. He recorded career highs in targets and receiving yards, in addition to catching his first touchdown last weekend against the Washington Commanders. The 4th-round rookie has been on the field for 90% of the Giants' offensive snaps since week 6 and gets an enticing matchup this weekend. No team has allowed more receiving touchdowns or fantasy points to tight ends than the Panthers in 2024. So over the last 3 weeks, Zach Ertz, Adam Troutman, and Taysom Hill have all scored at least double-digit fantasy points in their matchup against the Panthers. Theo Johnson is not only a great sleeper, but he's a great DFS play. All right, last one, Taysom Hill, Voldemort. Yeah, good old Voldemort. I mean, do you realize that Hill could be the best Saints receiver and second best rusher in Week 10 against the Falcons with Chris Olave, Cedric Wilson Jr., Kendre Miller, and Jamal Williams all dealing with injuries? In Week 9 at Carolina, Hill had 4 catches for 41 yards on 5 targets and also added 5 carries for 19 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, he scored double-digit PPR points last week, a feat he accomplished back in Week 4 versus the Falcons when he had 6 carries for 24 yards and 2 touchdowns. So given the situation in New Orleans, man, Hill is a fantastic sleeper. All right, so that does it for our Saturday Sleeper Show. So if you enjoyed this content, make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. Let me know you're out there loving the show. Make sure to click the bell also, because you see I'm putting out little small bits of content, putting more content out, small digestible bits. So hopefully you enjoy that. So make sure to hit the bell so you'll get noticed every time I put something out. All right. That is it. Thank you so much. I wish the absolute best for everybody in Week 10. Hope everybody watching is able to come out with a win. So with that, remember everyone, in fantasy football, as in life, don't dream it, be it. All right. Thank you so much for watching. All right. Good luck.